A very informal thing, because when I sit formally for a long period of time, my bones start creaking actually, So I'd like to move around you and talk to you. Can I do that? Yeah. Can I have a very big round of saying yes and all that? And can we increase the decibels in this room? Can we do that, please? Yes. Say yes loudly. Yes. That makes sense, yaar, because लगता है कोई जीवित है यहाँ पर, वरना लगता है कोई कि मुर्दा घर में आ गया हूँ मैं. So anyway, coming to the point again. My name is Sajal Mitra. I'm the course director of an institute. It's an education institute, which is known as
Time.
Okay, right. Anyway, I was there with Time. As you all know, Time is an institute which deals with management education and all that, centered in Hyderabad, vagara. So I'm not going into that. So like all other good businesses, when we started way back in 2004, I'll give a small part. I'll divide my session in 3 parts. I'm not making any presentations, right? Because I feel that when I talk to you, it's more warmer. Okay, right? As if the AC is pretty down, so I think let's create some warmth. So I'll give a little bit of talk about who I am and what we have done with a little bit of word called enterprise. It's a lovely word. You enter and then you prize it open. That's what I call it. It's a lovely French word. You first have to enter first, and then you have to open it up. Okay? That's as simple a word. But then what we did, or what I did personally, let me tell you a little bit about it. Started my career in banking. Spent 13 years in Standard Chartered Bank. Very simply, to put about enterprise, I'd like to tell you one thing. I failed till class 8.
Wow.
Absolutely failed till class 8. I'm a Jharkhandi from Ranchi. Madly Bengali, 100% madly Bengali, not sadly Bengali, okay, right? 100% madly Bengali, and I've done my schooling from Jharkhand, St. Xavier's Ranchi. Anybody from Ranchi? Nobody from Ranchi. Good, thank God. People would say, "Hey, Ranchi se aaye kya? Pata hi chal raha hai." Something like that. Right? So anyway, I failed, but I got promoted. Hey, dad was, thoda sa influential, dash. Brothers were good at education, so I was a black sheep. Okay, right. So, literally and figuratively, brothers were fair. I was not as fair as. Okay, so then I failed. But I got promoted. Apart from that, I used to play a lot. Was the captain of my cricket 11, football 11, hockey 11. Had good fun. But my father said, "You're all slated to be a good don. So not bad idea. So give it up." One day, finally in class 8, there was a class going on trigonometry. And I used to sit in the last bench, my favorite place, always. So the teacher asked me, "Hey Sajal, what sign?" Trigonometry, pehla class ho raha hai, SIN. I said, "Sir, my father does it on the checks." Everybody started laughing. The first boy who used to come in the class, his name is Chiranjeet Singh. He occupies, he's retired now, except for this guy. He gave me a gali, which I can't say. Exactly, all relationships put together. Combined gali, as we call that. Akha gali. He gave that gali. Somehow everybody laughed also. I just couldn't give back and give him a sock on his face. घर आए, माँ के बोला, "Boss, I'm not going to school anymore. 500 रुपए दे दे, निकल जाओ." That time 500 rupees was worth something. Please understand that. Not a devalued rupee that's now. So I said, "Let's go." My mother told me only one thing. That Sajal, before you leave everything, have a good look at that book or that subject which is taking you away from us. That night I sat with S.L. Looney. I'm sure many of you would have done that trigonometry book, the red colored book.
Yes.
S.L. Looney. I sat with it. Something turned in my brains. I don't know. I sat doodling with triangles. I told my mom, cutting a short story short, I told my mom, "Mom, I'm going to go back to school." Went back to school, first term exams, that was there in trigonometry. I failed in all subjects in trigonometry. I got 87 out of 100, beating everybody in color. That paper was put up on notice board. That one paper changed my life. I started studying. Somewhere or the other, I don't know what happened. And I love that abstract now, which says, something must have happened. I call that enterprise. It's an abstract now. It's a beautiful now. When it happens, it strikes. I went on to get a 98% in my ICSE. I went on, I left it, and I said, "Science karenge." Science kiya. I got 96% in ISC. Picked up 100 in maths straight away, without a bat. But then I was, doctor bano, engineer bano, nahi banayega. There's a lovely song, please go on YouTube and see. It's an old song, but one of my favorite songs by Dr. Alban. It's my life. Stop bugging me. It's my life. Stop reading me. One of my favorite songs, देखिएगा जरूर आज. So I went and came to Kolkata, did my BCom, picked up a humble 72%, and then went on to do my C. Then I joined the bank. Short story mein kar raha hu. I did a lot of innovations in the bank. Please, please. Did a lot of innovations in the bank. Got absolutely clashed with the union. You understand? Union तेरा फाड़ेंगे आज. सीधा सा बात. I said फाड़ के देखा. झारखंड से हूँ. Ultimately, they couldn't do anything. But ultimately, we went through. At one point of time, I was earning a lot of money, but there was a hollowness somewhere which was not happening. Right? It's a very strange feeling. How do I describe to you when you all you guys are saying, Murtuza told me, how do I handle your finances? Now, Murtuza, let me tell you one thing. When you have lots of money and you have plenty of it to burn, you realize, क्या चलाएं बोलो भैया ऐसे करें. बड़ा अजीब सी स्थिति है. But then we walked down to it, and I decided to say, I decided to leave. Now imagine the craziest thing in the world, leaving a job and a posh job and all that. My boss told me, called me to London and said, what more do you want? एक और गाड़ी चाहिए बोल गया. What do you want? How could I tell him, I want to run, sir. I don't want the car. I want to use my feet. Enterprise. I hope you understand, right? I can relate to you probably with my life. Because I've done this. It's past tense. And that's what I can relate to you. And that can help you a little bit and motivate you and say, that's the future. And I want it. So those are when I asked two persons. One, my mother. She has been the greatest motivating factor in my life. I stand because of mom and dad. I always say, don't visit temple. घर है यार, एक देवता है पापा, एक देवी है माँ, काफी है यार. सारे 52 करोड़ देवताओं को एक ही साथ देख लिया, खत्म बात. So I asked my mom, Mom, what do I do? Mom said, run away, Sajal, run away before the system takes you over. I got married. बीवी से पूछा, ask my wife. तो कभी आपसे पहले बीवी से मिलवाएंगे. उसे मुझ जैसे आदमी को संभालने के लिए कुछ तो चाहिए. So you understand. So I asked my wife, what should I do? She said a very simple line. If you leave the job, I'll be unhappy. But if I tell you not to leave the job, if you leave the job, you'll be happy. If you don't leave the job, she said, I prefer that I be unhappy and you be happy. Free yourself. God's blessing, right? Normally women would never tolerate an unemployed husband. Got married to a banker, then now unemployed. Present status, unemployed. Bekar. Went on. 2 years I did nothing. I wrote some books here and there for College Street, here and there, writing books and all that. But I'm decently good at writing, so I wrote some books. And also I finished my masters. Then I met a person called Rahul Reddy, who started off Time, as you know. And we grew into very good friendship. 2004, Time had only one office at 5B Lakeview Road. छोटा सा ऑफिस था हमारा. एक बेंच, एक चेयर. जब डायरेक्टर आता था तो बैठता था, जब डायरेक्टर निकल जाता था अकाउंट्स आदमी बैठ जाता था. वही शेयर था. Admissions we go. In our first year, we had about 140 odd students, if I remember correctly. And we used to teach in Bhada classes. You understand? In 2000, over a period of time, I still remember going down to Tirati Bazaar and saying, chairs लेते हैं, अपना सेंटर खोला, एक सेंटर, दो सेंटर खोला, धीरे धीरे करके चेयर सस्ता में लेके आए टिरटी बाजार से, पंखा लेके आए, पहला एसी खरीदे. सोचे अरे कहाँ से पैसा आएगा एसी? बोले ऐसा राहुल डोंट वरी, एक स्टूडेंट आ जाए एक एसी समझ ले. And that's how we worked out our calculation. एक स्टूडेंट आ जाए 20-25 एक एसी हो जाएगा यार, डोंट वरी. बढ़ता गया until 2012 we had 12 institutes, 6 centers, and we were teaching about 1500 odd students, becoming the head kind of CAT training center in Calcutta, beating all the others follow. 8 years. Then came a jolt. We are franchisees, correct? Franchisee business सुनने में बहुत अच्छा लगता है. महीना में 20% जब निकालो तो बहुत दुख होता है. Why should I pay the royalty? And that too for damaged goods. In the sense that the material that they were given, they were very old material. I hope I'm not boring you, am I? Am I boring you? No. Please tell me when I am boring you. Huh? I'll play a song or something like that. 1, 2, let's get on the dance floor or something like that. I've got it. We'll play that. But then we started off actually. One thing I must tell you, one thing. It's very, very important when you do something, when you're an entrepreneur. It's a very incorrect concept that entrepreneurs work by themselves. Please remember, when my friend was telling me over there, may I call you my friend? Sure. Okay? Anybody who's an entrepreneur is my friend. When my friend was telling me about 4.5 people sitting on the one shared bedroom and all that, I hope he's telling the truth. I'm so sorry, don't mind. But if he's telling the truth, it sounds very exciting. And one day when you write your autobiography, you'll say those were the best moments of my life. Seriously speaking. We started off on that small line, but then we got a jolt. When the franchisee told us, take a walk, you're away from us. Can you imagine that? You build up a goodwill for so many years, and suddenly you're brought down to ground zero, and you say, that's a problem. But it was not just I, Rahul or someone, right? The entire team got into it now and said, correct. In some such place like this in Bangalore, we were all sitting like this, just like you were sitting, it was reminding me of Bangalore, when we all sat with people like A.R.K. Srinivas and others. One day I hope to get to head starts, people like Rahul, Srinivas and all those people, they'll eliminate you also. We sat back and said, Apna karte hai. I'm cutting a story short about how we managed the capital. What was our main asset? One was, as Murtuza said, so wonderful word, which is also my favorite, passion. It can be seen in the eyes, correct? That you have passion, it glows. So when you have that passion, and in any business, what you need is, especially in education business, I call it faculty capital, which is the most important thing in business. You can get 1,000 books. Books are not a problem at all. But what is very important is a delivery mechanism which can only be done through faculty. And we had that goodwill. We said, let's base it. We talked to those people who are funding us. We said, 5 साल का salary, overheads है, बहुत risky बात है. You understand? People were working under, we had 54 employees. 54 full-time employees. Only in Kolkata की बात कर. बाकी, I'm not talking about Chennai, Bangalore, Lucknow. I'm not talking about that. Just 54. We felt it was our responsibility to support those people. बहुत बड़ी liability हो गया कि नहीं बताओ? There was a tempter over there, poacher, for time another institute said, this is a weak point, hit them and get the faculty out. But what you have in enterprise and what you have in leadership is the faith that you build up over the time. Or one look at Rahul Reddy, or one look at Sajal Mitra, they'll say, don't worry, we are behind you. If someone employee comes to you and say, sir, don't worry, 2 महीना तनख्वाह के बिना रह जाएंगे, पर अपना जिद भी है, इस कंपनी को खड़ा कर रहेंगे. You look up to God upstairs and say, I must have done something good. Otherwise, who will be forsaking his salary and say, when he's got an alternative? Please remember that. And that alternative is probably willing to pay him more than what he's willing to get. You realize you have been a very good entrepreneur. You've built a team that will depend on you, a team which has faith on you and says, you will not ditch. And I come to a wonderful word, which is a very favorite. Some of you, 1 or 2, I remember our students, mine over here, who have seen me and understand me. One you are there, that past ex-students of mine. I believe in a word called ethics, which is a very, very important word for me. I'll never cheat someone. One of my cardinal lines is, I deliver more than what I tell. That's a very simple principle I have got. If I tell it on the counseling table, I'm telling practical things what I do, right? If I'm sitting on the counseling table and I'm telling a student, भैया मैं आपके लिए ये कर दूंगा, वो कर दूंगा, वो कर दूंगा, करेंगे. I'll tell you a simple concept I started, and I'm doing that now, and it's got me business. Let me tell you, with a great deal of humility, that in 1 year's time, just in 1 year, we set up Vista Minds, May 2012. Now it's August. We have got, in Calcutta only, we've got 272 students who are writing CAT 13 right now. And pure Vista Minds students. and with decent fees. We didn't lower the fees so badly, saying, "Garib ho gaya bhaiya, kuch bhi kar lenge." No, we didn't do that. There's one very important point about enterprise. Coming to the point again, what was an important thing? First of all, our ads carried that point. Whenever if you've seen our ads of Vista Minds, they said, brands don't teach, faculty do. That was our tagline. It worked. People said, "Arey, look, time chhod diye kya? Ye hua, wo hua." Rumors were floating all around the place, right? And our competitors were feeding more rumors. Many people told that Sajal sir, John left that place and he joined this and joined that. Mere baare mein to, I'm one of the most rumored guys around. They said he is left. People called me up and said, "Sir, kya hua? Chhod diye kya?" I said, "Nahi yaar, aap log kaise chhod sakta hu main? There has to be a constant star called the pole star. I'm the pole star. My offices are the same. I have not run away. The other people have run. I am still there. All our faculty are there. By the grace of God and with good intentions, extreme hard work, we are on. I told the people, 3 saal pehle, 3 years, I'm going to get back to the position what I did in 7 years. I'm back again. Do you realize that point, right? There's been a wonderful poem which has always motivated me. I'm sure many of you would have read it. It's called a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. Beautiful line. When you give everything is broken down and all that, you again pick up those things with broken up tools and start again. Because you have got with you one wonderful abstract noun. They call it enterprise. Which says, I believe in myself, I have faith in myself, I have faith in my ideas, I can do it. Right? So I did a simple thing. I developed a concept called mentorship. Where did I get that idea from? From my school days. The Reverend Principal used to come to our house on certain days and say, "I have come." I remembered my school principal, Father Victor Tucker, and I worked back and I said, "Let's have mentorship." I reworked the entire Gurukul system of thinking, correct? Developed a personal relationship with the student. Sometimes I go to their house also, find out where he studies, and got through it. It's got me a lot of blessings and a lot of well wishes from many parents of people over there. It will take time, but I know it will be successful, the vision. Do you realize what I'm trying to say? Just don't start something just because you think it's a zany idea or a great idea, right? I've seen a lot of ideas evaporating into thin air just because of the multiple support systems. Definitely, you have the passion. Understand the demand, understand what is you can give, etc. Now, one more thing I'd like to talk about on this point, about what makes you a great entrepreneur. From here, I can see people of different age groups are here, right? Here we have a gentleman, probably he's done business and he's very mature. He's seen life. He's there. There's one gentleman there. There's also a young guy over here who's wanting to see the life, right? What's common between all of you? The first thing I'd like to, that is, no, we're going to do something different. We are not satisfied with what we are. I read somewhere, people who are middle class, they use credit cards. People who are wealthy, they use debit cards. Simple. Don't imitate people who are rich. Imitate the mindset of the rich, which is much more important, right? You end up by being a fool by buying all those things which rich people buy. Why should you do that? Correct? Why? अरे धनी हो तो दिमाग में धनी हो भैया. Why put on these add-ons to become rich? Don't become an over-Asia like that. So all these things are there. Work out. Have faith. Start small, but think global and have a great team with you. Because today when I work with my faculty, I am working out in different places. Today in the morning, I was there at Swami Vivekananda Institute of Technology and I was here delivering. 2 colleges have delivered a seminar today. I've taken 2 classes also today. And right here I am delivering. I told Dipan, I'll just manage this time for you. After over here, I'll go back again to my center. There are some students who will be there who are working and I'll be sitting with them till 10 and 30 in the evening, sitting there, doing nothing but mentoring and saying, "Sir, मेरा देखिए नहीं score ऐसा है, कैसा हो?" That little touch, that little guidance, which you say with your customers, right? That personal touch. Believe me, in all this concrete jungle of tech-savvy people, and a lot of techs are very good, but in the midst of all these tech things, please don't lose the human touch. Because if anything will click, it is that human touch which says, "जाली नहीं है, ये एक नंबर है, शुद्ध घी है, absolute hallmark." That's what it is. Anyway, I hope I didn't bore you so much from this point of view, right? लेकिन सारे कहना पड़ेगा. You are not, money is not yours. You'll make money. Who are you, yaar? You're just a conduit through which money travels. The entire universe is waiting for you with ideas. Look up, Surya Pranam kariye, kuch ideas dekhiye. You know, where do I get my ideas from? In the early hours of the morning. I'm a very early riser. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I go to sleep at about 1:30. 4 hours. I never have lunch. People ask me, कौन से चक्की का आटा खाते हैं? Passion का चक्की, समझ में आ गया ना आपको? हाँ? That feeds me. खाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ता है. Sleep is a piece of borrowed death, said William Shakespeare. Who worries about sleeping? You sleep, you eat. Why eat? Some people live to eat, some people eat to live. So take your choice. One of the most important things is when you get an idea, you note it down, work with it. Anyway, friends, I would like to, if you don't mind, one of the most important things, I could talk about many things about entrepreneurship, you know, so that's what I do. I talk in B schools about entrepreneurship, etc. This is my subject actually. So I could talk about many things to you, but I thought that when I came in, I thought that let's have a little bit of, I love action. You understand what I'm saying, right? I'm not telling you to dance, don't worry. Neither I'm telling you to sing, which is a better thing to do. Okay? But what I'm trying to tell you, communication skills is one of the greatest skills of an entrepreneur. Correct? May I correct some of you already what I've heard? For example, you, okay, right? You're much younger than me, so I have the right to correct you. Okay? And पेशे से मैं शिक्षक हूँ, तो मैं correct कर ही सकता हूँ. You should never start off with a negative note by saying, for example, look, I'm very bad actually, you're very good at public speaking, frankly tell you that, right? That's a wonderful view.
Do you mind if I jot down whatever you say?
Oh, my pleasure, man. No issues at all. You know, what this guy was doing is, he came out very, if you observe his body language, I was just trying to observe this guy. I could not observe him too much because I was not, but when this guy came around, I said, Ari, mast banda hai yaar, thoda dekhte hain, sunte hain. I love the quavering tone in his note, his voice. So let's go back on the recreation of that model again. He comes back and he says, well, I'm not really, please don't mind now, right? I'm not very good at mimicking, but I like to correct people, okay, right? So he says, I'm not very good at speaking, but I'll try. And when the moment was doing the hum and the haw and all that business and all that, people say, kya hai, janta hai kya bol raha hai, kya nahi bol raha. Actually, it was very good. But if that boy, if this guy now starts with a confident note, hi, I'm from citynaksha.com, and I'm going to tell you something. You've heard about Bing, you've heard about Google Maps. I'm going to tell you about citynaksha.com. Now, you might not like it or like, but get that little note of confidence, okay, right? Please come to me one day, and we'll have a small cup of coffee, okay? Not a big one, small cup of coffee, and we'll share some little tips. Murtuza, may I, Murtuza? Okay, right? Murtuza, that's a fun I love, Murtuza. Murtuza is a very fast talker. Well, what I'm trying to say is this, financial is what I lead into, and there was Murtuza, absolutely on a sports car. Now, if finance was so fast, I'd love it, Murtuza, and I'd like to get all the money I want in the kind of speed as you were talking, Murtuza. But the point is, Murtuza, the only thing is, don't mind, what the whole idea was that Murtuza was, Bapra. अभी मेरे को शारदा चिटफंड से निकले अगर नहीं यार कोई भी अगर टंका की बात करता है तो हम लोग थोड़ा सोच में पड़ जाते हैं भैया ये जाली है ये जेन्युइन है क्या है बताइए. So as a good finance talker you should be putting on that, you know, that solid look and all that. I understand jeans से भी चलेगा ऐसी बात नहीं है. You don't have to come in formals, but a little solid look, not a jittery way of speech and all that. I'm just trying to do a little stint in communication. Okay, right? No, please don't mind again. No. I make apologies, I don't intend to keep them. You know, that's a basic idea, right? That's okay. So you would say, why does that look, you know, that way of talking? Yeah. This, that and all that. So Mohit would be now, I didn't hear full thing about you, but just trying to tell you one particular point. Good communication skills are very important for an entrepreneur. Just to talk about two things in this one. We communicate by reading, we communicate by listening, we communicate by speaking, and the most important way we communicate is by writing. I have always linked it to carbon. Carbon is tetrahedral. C. 1, 2, 3, 4. C for communication. R. Reading, listening, speaking, and writing. They call it organic chemistry. After all, isn't it about the chemistry between you and me is perfect? That's what they call communication. The physics might be different. The chemistry is perfect. They call it vibes. You generating positive vibes. I like to be your friend. मुझसे दोस्ती करोगे? नहीं बोल रहा. बाद में सोचेंगे. Jokes. Okay, right. This ability, you see what I'm doing. I'm trying to get in touch with all of you, right? That's what I would like my friends, all of you, to get into it, right? Second point. There are two types of thinking. One is for linear thinking. I call the rat race thinking. सब कोई किए हैं. उसमें थोड़ा सा ट्वीक कर दिया इसको थोड़ा सा चेंज कर दिया. ये टी शर्ट है, कॉलर लगवा दो इसको थोड़ा सा. It's called tweaking technology. Correct. I read a wonderful book and I would like you to read that book. It's called The Blue Ocean Strategy. How many of you read that book? Fantastic. God bless you. So we'll not talk about red oceans, correct? We'll talk about the blue oceans. Fantastic book. There's also a lovely book called, which I'll give you my mail ID whenever you want to contact me across the mail. I'm not very tech savvy. When people say, sir, आप Facebook में क्यों नहीं accept करते हो मेरे को? मैं कहता हूँ my face is a book. Read it. I manage that joke, but then students are very angry with me. Sir, आप मेरे friend, because मैंने क्या खता किया कि आप मेरे friend? अरे भैया क्या करे मेल reply करते करते जान निकल जाता. Now I'm there on WhatsApp also. The students have found out at 12:30 in the night. Sir, ये question का 4 option है. और ये फोटो उठा के भेज रहे हैं आपके पास में. तो नहीं बता दीजिए ना इसका आंसर क्या होगा? So I'm having my dinner, I'm watching a movie, and there I am there on WhatsApp. What does technology not do? My wife says, take that mobile of yours to bed also. That might be a better companion. That's great fun across the table. So communication, second point is, there are two types of thinking. One is called linear thinking, and the other is called lateral thinking. I'm sure you've heard of Edward Bono. Think differently. आज इस दोनों बात के ऊपर बात करेंगे. एक छोटा सा एक्टिविटी लेंगे. समय थोड़ा 6:45 बज रहा है. मेरे को विकायत ने बोला, अरे सर 7 बजे गया था बकियाना मत. क्या समझे ना?
Sir, you started late, so no issues. You got the time set.
वैसे भी नाश्ता आने में टाइम है, so
What a smart salesman. जब तक आ रहा है तब तक बोलते जाओ भैया, बोलते जाओ. Okay, right. Anyway, so I'd like to take a small activity and I'd like to involve, say, 5 or 6 people in that activity. Will you mind?
of course.
Do you mind?
No.
सब कोई नहीं बोल रहा. क्या हुआ? लोग पकड़ा गए. ये बोल रहे हैं आज के दिन. Dangerous लोग. The hero is a dangerous low. Kishu na kishu korbe etake, and nobody wants to come out. Everybody likes to sit there and listen. I have come here. Let the other person speak. Oh, bocho to. My friend है. वो बोलो. Not bad. नाश्ता है तो. हाँ है. No problems. So friends, I like to pick up uncommon people today. Okay, right?
Wow.
Random choice. Those who have not, I'll just pick them up. I'll give a very small, छोटा सा case देंगे. मतलब not the police वाला. एक छोटा सा case देंगे. And we'll have a small little talk on that, and probably I'll be able to analyze 5 or 6 people today and say, आप इस तरह से आगे बढ़ सकते हो. My little humble contribution to your wonderful organization. May I?
Sure.
Lovely. But as always, my students know, and he also was my student, I think so. You are also my student, right? Yeah. So they know that after every session, I would always ask my students, hey, कैसा लगा रे बोल? हाँ? कैसा लगा? हाँ? कैसा लगा? बोल? हाँ? So they'll say, कितना बार पूछोगे सर? हाँ, कितना बार पूछोगे? Okay, right. And somebody said, it was good. I said, मारे एक थप्पड़ कान के नीचे. Good? But it was excellent, yeah. Gratified about that. Don't say good. Or somebody would say, sir, it is very nice. Then I'll ask them, क्या बोल रहा है? बिस्किट के बारे में बोल रहा है या दवाई के बारे में बोल रहा है? ठीक से बोल. अगर बिस्किट है तो समझ जाएंगे. Nice is also an analogistic given to your headache.
Yes.
So what is, the class was very nice, sir. आपने दिया था. बोला सर दर्द. Okay, सर ने दिया दर्द. So can I ask you to come out? It's a very simple case. We'll have fun. Okay, right? Please don't worry about too much about very good English.
Okay.
Though some people say I'm very good at English, so called, English chale gaya. I'm waiting for the day when I'll have an English driver. Believe me, an American cook.
Wow.
Hey Sam, get the table ready. Oh, then I'll say, we are in a boom economy. John, गाड़ी निकाल. John, गाड़ी निकाल. बेटा बहुत सितम किया 200 साल से. अब गाड़ी चला मेरा. So I'm looking forward to that day when I'll be having, what do you say? Isn't that about attitude? Okay.
Yes.
Right. Well, so we'll not talk so much in that typical Oxford English. Be natural, yeah. Don't look constipated. Most people look constipated, trying to put on that pseudo intellectual. Last time Manoj Kumar was a clerk, like that. So don't put on that pseudo look. And whenever people put that extra special intellectual look, I give them a jealousy. Relax, just chill. Believe me guys, when you're natural, you're in touch with your inner self. And when you're in touch with your inner self, you bring out the best in you. Never imitate, never copy. Ralph Waldo Emerson, a great American essayist, said, we're all born with intelligence. We lose it gradually through wisdom.
Wow.
Are we really wise? देखते ना, ये दिल तो बच्चा है जी, है ना? So when we smile innocently, forget that these complexes of ours, we become the greatest entrepreneur. Are you getting the picture clear? Any day is a good day. You never have those inhibitions and all that. We are very, think of a wonderful combo. You're ethical, you're decently moral. Decently moral. I use an adverb. Okay? You're decently moral. Because somebody will say, अरे सर आप धंधा करके देखो ना, घूस नहीं देके धंधा करके देखो ना. Well friends, you should understand that I could also start up my own CA firm and sign on दो नंबरी accounts. I decided not to do so, and I just never really decided to use my. I'm sure some of you might be CAs over there. I could easily do that. I would have made tons of money for myself, right? But जब किसी स्टूडेंट एयरपोर्ट में पैर छूता है या कहीं रास्ते में गाड़ी आता है, गाड़ी रुकता है और रुक के बोलता है सर कैसे पैर छूते हैं, तब लगता है they have done something in my life which has been worth it. It's worth more than bloody crores of rupees that I can get through. My wife is very happy. She says, I'm proud of you. My children are very happy. They say, Dad, I heard about you from my friends and they said great things about me. And I was proud and I said, my father. Don't you think these are great values in life to live for? At the end of the day, spend time so you can get that. I want you to be like that, right? One day you can say, you know, when I go, in whom, as again I quote a little bit of Shakespeare, in whom the elements so mixed that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man.
Wow.